Hey everybody, this is Expat and welcome into the Arena Productions and our Star Wars Republic show, our first Star Wars Republic show of 2023. So I want to welcome you in and we're going to be doing our recap. It's a spoiler recap for The Bad Batch, episodes 1 and 2. So this is just your spoiler warning. I'm going to be throwing a lot of spoilers out there as I discuss episodes 1 and 2 of season 2 of The Bad Batch. So just letting you know now, if you have not watched season 2, episode 1 and 2 of The Bad Batch, please go and watch it and then come back and enjoy our video here on the Arena Productions. So that's your spoiler warning. So let's go ahead and get into the first episode. Of course, this takes place basically months after the end of season 1 with the destruction of Kamino. And of course, here's Omega, and it's interesting. She was obviously studying the schematics of Imperial ships when, of course, the rest of the crew, of course, Hunter and, everybody, they were running around down there. They were getting some loot. Of course, they're doing some mercenary work. And they run into these crab creatures and everything, and it's pretty cool how they are able to escape these crab creatures and all and get away from them. And so of course Omega, she's got her her laser bow and arrow thing that was pretty cool. So yeah, that was an interesting part of the beginning of the episode. And then of course we see Sid and Fee here. Of course Sid is the one that is giving them the mercenary jobs. And Fee is interesting because she comes up to Tech, and she's like, "What's your name?" and everything. And then Tech starts talking about how all of the clones' eye colors are usually brown and everything. And then she gets uninterested really quickly. And but basically, Sid has another job for them, and she talks about it and basically says that. You guys are going to go to Sereno, where, of course, Count Dooku's palace was. And, of course, some of them, Omega didn't even know who Count Dooku was. Anyway, the clones, they tell her who he was. But it's interesting how Sid is telling them that this is bigger than any other mercenary job you've ever done. And that just one crate of loot from, of course, from this palace would be bigger than anything you'd ever done before. And what I really liked about this episode is, of course, how Hunter is really, he's still the father figure in a sense to Omega. And he's really, really contemplating whether or not to do this because he doesn't want to put her in harm's way. And obviously through season 1, she was in harm's way a lot. And he's really thinking about this. But then the rest of the gang, they're basically like, look, we've come to the conclusion that, we want to do this. And Sid is trying to tell them, look, you can be free if you get this job done, if you get this crate. You'll have so much money to be able to get away. And so they finally just they come to the conclusion, okay, we need to do this, And so they go out and you go to Sereno. And what's interesting about when they get to Sereno is you see the ultimate and utter destruction of the planet. I mean, just kind of like what they were doing in the final episode of season 1 when they destroyed Kamino, the Empire. I mean, just the Empire just literally laying waste to the planet's surface. If you watch The Mandalorian, obviously you see a brief clip of Mandalore just being, as Boba Fett said, turned to glass. I mean, just completely obliterated. And of course, so they see this in Sereno, and obviously the Empire is already there, and they are already loading the crates, and they're ready to take them out. And so they go on their little mission. Hunter is basically going to be like a distraction, while of course the others are going to go in and get the crates and all. But that obviously isn't going to go as planned. None of these missions usually go as planned, and of course then they get split up. Of course, you see, Hunter there. And, what's interesting is these other three, of course, Omega and Echo and Tech, they get separated from the others. And you see in this shot here of Wreck and Hunter, and it looks like they're going to have to go into what was left over of the city through the palace to get away, whereas the others, Echo and Tech and Omega, get stuck in one of the crates. And at the end of the episode, it's almost like, oh my God, you think that those three in the crate are going to die because it's like falling out of the sky due to the Empire already lifting the crates up, close to the edge of the atmosphere there. But Omega comes up with an interesting idea of using the jet propulsion to save them, and it almost looks like they're going to meet their end at the end of the episode. So we get into episode 2, and obviously that doesn't happen. They do crash land in a sense, but there's firefights throughout this episode, and you see them in the crate here, and they're trying to figure out a way to get out. And obviously you have former clone troopers that are now part of the Empire, working for the Empire. They're the ones that are responsible for getting these crates off of the planet, for the Empire. And what's interesting in this episode here is this gentleman here, and of course he goes by the name of Romar, and he's just a local. And it's interesting how he's trying to lie about the fact that he has his own, kind of like village abode, only about 2 clicks out. But Tech, he's like, it's on my sensor scan here. Come on, you're going to take us there now. So anyway, Romar, he's no friend of the Empire, obviously. And so he takes them to his village house. And you get a real sense here of talking about Dooku and what Dooku did to the planet and to the people, and took all of their wealth. And he said that it's cursed. You shouldn't take that loot, or the crates and all. It's just it's cursed, and we don't want to have a part of that anymore. Us survivors, so to speak. But anyway, Omega, she has her own plans. Omega, she's pretty stubborn girl, and you see in this episode she has grown a bit. But she's going after the crates again. And obviously earlier in the episode, Tech had been injured. His leg had basically been crushed when they were crash landing. But anyway, he helps Romar here with some of his equipment when it comes to, I think it's some type of like a history type of object that he helps him to get back into working order again. And but Omega, obviously she goes back to the crate, and so Echo and Tech have to go after her. And finally they get to her, and meanwhile, obviously Hunter and Wreck, they are still fighting off the other clone troops and trying to get back to their ship. And they run across some of the old what's interesting from the Clone War era, the Separatist tanks, and Wreck is able to sabotage some of the parts and make it into kind of like a bazooka in a sense, and fight them off. And they're able to get back to their ship, and then there's some firefights and all. But obviously what's so interesting is that these clone troopers, they don't know how to shoot. It's like they go basically the whole episode, Hunter and Wreck, and just they're shooting down all these troopers, whereas the other troopers, they keep firing and firing and firing and missing and missing and missing, and then they never get hit. So that's the only pet peeve of the episodes that I really have. It's like, How could these guys be so, terrible at shooting? But anyway, so they're able to, of course, escape, but they don't have any of the crates and all. And yeah, here is one of the great scenes of the episode where, Echo is consoling Omega. Omega is really sad because she wasn't able to get any of the crates and help them with the loot that of course they could return to Sid and be able to have money. But Echo obviously is consoling her and saying, hey, don't worry about it, and that it doesn't matter. We would have had you a part of us, no matter what. We would have did it all over again. And so the thing I really love about these two episodes is you really see the camaraderie and the familyhood, in a sense, the bond that's been created of the of course the clone troop 99 with Omega as well. And it's like they're family. And what's also interesting though is we did not see Crosshair in this episode, or the first two episodes, and we're probably going to see him in episode 3, because episode 3 is titled The Solitary Clone. So that probably means Crosshair, because at the end of the last season, obviously, if you've seen that, spoilers, he was left behind on Kamino. He did not go with the others after they left, and so the Empire probably picked him up, and they probably put him in, most likelihood, some kind of solitary confinement or something like that, to interrogate him or something like that. I don't know, but The Solitary Clone is the name of the next episode, which is coming out next week, which of course I will be covering here on the Arena Productions. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, we'll probably see Crosshair in episode 3. But I want to get to the very last part of the episode now. And of course, the captain had made his report. And of course, Vice Admiral Rampart here, he's telling him the reason why he is here is because of the report had some information that was not accurate. And the captain is like saying to the Vice Admiral, what about it was not accurate? And he was like saying, well, you put in the report that there were clone 99 troopers, that were involved in this, but they all perished on Kamino, like at the end of the final episode of season 1. And he's like, no, we confirmed at least 2 of them. And he said, well, you're going to have to change that report, because obviously he couldn't tell, Governor Tarkin, that these troopers had survived. Of course, it would make him look bad, right? And of course, the captain basically stating his last bits of honor said, I'm not going to change that report. And so basically Rampart just shoots him dead, and that was the end of the episode. But at least now we know that Rampart knows that, of course, the clone troopers, clone troop 99 is still alive. So basically, what does that mean? We shall see. We're going to find out in probably episode 3, and as we go on. So yeah, I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes of season 2. The strong bond between the clone troop 99 and with Omega. Omega learning a lot about the schematics and things about the Imperial ships. Their camaraderie when it comes to the mercenary jobs. It didn't work out this time, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes moving forward. But anyway, so please be sure to hit that like and the subscribe and the notification bell if you enjoyed this episode. Yes, and of course, this will be going up here on the Arena Productions. So we look forward to the next episode of The Bad Batch, which I will be doing next week for all of you. So hope you will join us for that. So yeah. So, and if you have any comments about the episode, some of the things that you really enjoyed or you didn't enjoy so much about the episodes, please leave that in the comments for us. We'd really love to hear from you, and we will respond to your comments. So thank you so much. So I've been your host, Expat. Hope to catch you next week for the next episode of The Bad Batch. So when we do episode 3's recap. So, of course, spoiler recap. So until then, have a great week, everyone. So see you next time on the Arena Productions and Star Wars Republic. Take care. Peace out.